by 17 senators, including myself. And out of the 17 senators, Madam Speaker, only one has opposed the motion. Madam Speaker, to be precise, this motion is calling for free secondary education. This motion, and that is what was in the mouth of every senator who supported this motion, saying that we should have free education. And I call upon the President, President William Ruto, that the majority who have spoken have said that this country is ripe for free secondary education. And just like Kibaki, who gave us free and compulsory primary education, President Ruto can now make it his legacy and give us free compulsory secondary education. Because, Madam Speaker, it doesn't make sense to make free primary education, to make it compulsory and free. Then after you educate them, then you tell them, pay for your kids, Madam Speaker. If you made it compulsory, also make it compulsory and free in secondary school, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have come to learn that from the funds that I have calculated here, not once, not twice, Madam Speaker, the country has funds. And I would want to, as I answer some of the senators who are contributing, Madam Speaker, to answer Senator Ledama, who opposed the motion, Madam Speaker. And he opposed the motion because I think because of semantics. Maybe he got it wrong somewhere, but because he opposed but supported within the context. So I think was the issue of audit. When you talk about the ministry to audit, we are not talking about the auditing that is done by the Auditor General. We are talking about review, look into, research, Madam Speaker. And again, even auditing, every ministry has internal auditors, Madam Speaker. So I think they need to do that to tell us where we are at as a country, Madam Speaker. And also, Madam Speaker, if you read the resolution number 2 of this motion, we are saying consolidate. And I have to be clear here, Madam Speaker, because this is one of the issues that has confused the senator when you say consolidate. On this one, Madam Speaker, consolidate means integrate, harmonize, streamline, Madam Speaker. Not necessarily putting it in one basket. I would even oppose that myself. I'm not calling for bursary to be put in one basket. Then we start dishing out the way we are dishing it out, Madam Speaker. That is centralization. And that is taking it away from the village now and bringing it to Nairobi. No, I cannot support that, Madam Speaker. What I'm saying is the money that you have for bursary, integrate it into the schools so that education can be free, Madam Speaker. And I want to demonstrate by saying, yesterday I calculated, I said MPs with 290 constituencies are giving 50 million per constituency. That's about 14.5 billion, Madam Speaker. Women reps are giving between 10 to 15 million per county. That is about 705 million, Madam Speaker. Governors are giving all the way up to 500 million. If you multiply that by 47 counties, Madam Speaker, that is about 23 billion, Madam Speaker. If you count what the ministry is giving as scholarship and bursary, if you count what the president is giving as bursary, if you count what the private members of private or corporates are giving the wings to fly, count all of them. I'm telling you the money that is out there is more than 50 billion Kenya shillings, Madam Speaker. And that is for government only without calculating the private. If we put all these 50 billion, Madam Speaker, divide that amount by 5 million students who are in secondary school today, 5 million. If we do that, every student will get 10,000 Kenya shillings. Today they get 22,000. So that will be 32,000. I mean, it's more than required for education here in Kenya, Madam Speaker. So the answer lies here by making education free, by putting all these bursaries and all the capitations and declaring secondary education free of charge. Madam Speaker, I've done my own research from the members who have supported, from the members of public. Even as we sit today, I have just received from my WhatsApp, Madam Speaker, a letter that I'm not going to read all of it, but it's a letter from the members of Mount Elgon Development Network, Madam Speaker. They have written a very nice letter that we should look at it as the Senate. And one of the recommendations, Madam Speaker, they have said separate funds for bursaries, channel to schools, and allow free and compulsory education, Madam Speaker. This is from Mount Elgon. I don't even know who they are, Madam Speaker. If I read one or two names, there is Janet Chemtai, there's Lynette Chepkemoi. It is written and signed by Kanoritach, Cherotwei, Simoto, all of them, Madam Speaker. So this tells you the time is now and the time is ripe for us to give this country free secondary education, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when I talk about calculate the cost of education, and it was also raised here, we want to know how much does it cost, or how much does one student or one child, how much do they require from Form 1 all the way to Form 4? Once we get to know how much, we just multiply by the number of students, Madam Speaker. The moment we multiply, the country will know the amount of money they are going to budget for education. And once they budget, we make education free. Last time the CS was here, said they have not calculated. That's why we are now telling them, calculate and report to the House so that both the National Assembly and this House, we are able to harmonize and make sure that education is free in secondary school, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it has been said here that those who get bursary, they are those who knows waheshimiwa. And Senator Mandago has brought another aspect. Even waheshimiwa themselves, they sometimes get threatened. If you don't give me bursary, I will never vote for you. So we are helping everybody in this aspect, Madam Speaker. We are helping the member of parliament not to be threatened. And then we are helping the voter to find education free. And I want to tell you, Madam Speaker, there are two people who pays for education. And there are two mamambogas who pays for education. One mamamboga will spend the whole day at the MP's office, or the governor's office, or the MCA's office, while the other mamamboga, who is tired of standing at the MP's office or the governor's office, goes for kibarua, or goes to just do some handwork somewhere, Madam Speaker, to get some money. It does not mean that person or that mamamboga who is paying for that education or able to pay that education is better off than the other mamamboga who is spending all the time at the MP's or the governor's office looking for money. That tells you, if we were to make this education free, Madam Speaker, everyone will stop going to MPs and go to work. Everyone will stop going to the member of parliament and go to work. And we will be voted for, Madam Speaker, or the MPs will be voted for, governors, MCA, and everyone. Not for how much you gave me as 2,000 for bursary, but how much you defended my right to have basic education. And basic education, Madam Speaker, is that primary and secondary education, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and it's also good to quote, because I heard she is a young lawyer, Senator Karen Nyamu. She said something that was intriguing, that free education is the equalizer, but bursary is the divider, Madam Speaker. So that is something that we need to tell everyone who is concerned when it comes to paying for education or funding education, Madam Speaker. And this should go on record. Senate is not fighting bursary. Senate is only saying, let's put this money in school and make education free. And we are not saying that counties should not give bursary. What we are telling counties, if we make education free, the monies the counties were paying for education, they will use it to make roads, they will use it to better the health care, they will use to pay better salaries to their people, because education will be free. So that means you won't be taking 500 million and taking it to bursary, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I urge every senator to support this motion because this is what Kenya wants. And Madam Speaker, I take this opportunity. I wish to request that pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, the putting of the question be deferred to a later date. I reply, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, it's now 6:42, and having concluded the business for which I extended the hour of sitting pursuant to Standing Order 34-2A, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, 13th May 2025 at 2:30 p.m.
Morana Kibaso.